Hi, and welcome to this episode of Victory Talk with Latasha White. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for spending that non-refillable resource of time right here with me. Y'all know you can get more of everything. You can get more money, you can get more things, but you cannot get more time. We all have the same 24/7, so thank you for spending just a few minutes here. Y'all know that that's all the longer that I'm ever here. Hopefully you'll gather just a few nuggets to be able to add value to your life to help you lead it just a little bit better. So today I want to ask you the question that I ask myself all the time. In what ways are you stretching? In what ways are you stretching? It is very easy to get comfortable. It's very easy to get complacent. It's very easy to settle into this is a nice, comfortable little life. I got all my ducks in a row. I got things set up exactly how I want it to be. But are you stretching? Are you causing those uncomfortable times to happen? Like not causing or allowing. Are you allowing those uncomfortable times to come? Are you stretching into them or are you settling into the comfort? What are you doing and where are you at and why? Like what's the gauge here? So this is something that I do with myself at extent to the greatest extent every month. So every week I'm going to calendar out my week. I'm going to figure out what are all the things that I need to do, what's all the moving parts and all of that. And within that week, I will think of ways that I can maybe do something a little bit differently than what I did it last week. How could I be just a little bit better this week than last week? And then at the beginning of the month, how can I set up this month better than I set up last month? What are the ways that I'm stretching myself? What are the ways that I'm growing myself? What are the ways that I'm causing myself or allowing myself to be uncomfortable? Because I'm telling you what, if I get complacent, then I'm not doing what I'm called to do. I'm talking about me here. And so I'm asking you to ask those questions of yourself and think introspectively of what are you doing to be better? What are you doing to stretch? What are you doing to set up your month, your week, your year differently than what you have in the past? Those are the things that I really want you to think through because those are the things that are going to cause you to grow. What time are you setting aside for your own personal growth? What time are you setting aside for solitude, for you, with you, by yourself, figuring those things out? If you're always doing for others, if you're always with others, how are you spending that time for yourself? How are you coming to those conclusions for yourself? You might think of something that sounds like a good idea because it's a conversation you're having with somebody else. You might think of something that's like, oh yeah, that's great because you're with somebody else. But when you're by yourself, what are the things that come through? What are the things that you think of? What are the things that are top of mind? What are the things that you know you should be doing differently, but maybe give yourself a pass on not? I know I got a few. And so I'm asking you, what are those for you? And when you recognize it, what are you going to do about it? You can't do something about all of them, but you can start with one. What's the one thing that you can do a little bit differently to help you grow through that thing so that you can get to the next thing? What is it? I don't know what it is for you, but I know for me, I have to stop in solitude and really think through and pray through those things and see what it's supposed to look like, see what it has been looking like, and am I even in the right vein? Am I even in the right lane? Am I even doing the thing that I'm called to do in that area? And sometimes it's what you need to get rid of. It's not always what you need to add more of because you feel, oh my gosh, I got enough on my plate. I cannot do one more thing. Maybe that's where it's at. Maybe you have too much on your plate. Maybe you have to figure out how to reconfigure that plate. You know how you see the nutrition plates where you have the most of your vegetables and then you have some fruit and you have some protein or a little bit of carbs in there. Like, what does your plate look like? What is your pie looking like? What do you have a bigger slice over here than what you probably should? All of them are not going to be even, like ever. So give yourself a pass on that. But what does it look like and what should it look like? What do you have more of that you should have less of? What do you not have enough of that you should have more of? Those are the questions that you ask yourself to be able to start to piece it together and pick apart what needs to go, what needs to stay, and what you need to add. That's a lot. That's a lot. I know. 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. I've dumped all this stuff. But I want you to think through these things. If you do not know how to start, I just gave you a few questions to ask of yourself to be able to start. But once those things come up for you and you don't know what to do with it, that's when you insert Latasha White, life coach extraordinaire. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, I really want you to think through what those things look like for you. If you don't know what to do with it, the next step is to email me info@latashawhite.com. That's the easiest thing to do, and say, hey, I did what you were talking about on Victory Talk, and now I don't know what the next thing is. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? All of this stuff came flooding through, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And sometimes it does freak you out a little bit. Sometimes you are a little bit scared, but that's okay. Feel the fear and keep it moving. It is okay. Just don't get stuck in it and don't get fearful. You can be scared, but not in fear. So that's what I want to leave you with this week. Email me info@latashawhite.com. We can have a conversation to see how we can move forward with helping you lead your life just a little bit better. Until we have that conversation, remember to lead with love, on purpose, with purpose.